you get. This is our new little side run for the doggo. He's loving having a yard. So
that's really nice.
A bonus of moving. But,
that is really nice. The dog's gonna love it.
Anyways, this is my badly in need of a paint job swing.
It's gonna be awesome though once you get like a pad on there and stuff. You know, that's gonna be nice.
Cushion covers are coming.
That's gonna be nice. Okay,
so for some of you, this is kind of old news.
Our top says it would be cringy if you pinched my cheeks and say it. I will someday.
But some of you who have joined the channel.
Oh, look at that cute dog, man! It's like a big poodle.
For like the service dog content and a lot of the more recent stuff.
She does service dog content. That's excellent because I'm getting a service dog and I'm going to start uploading my service dog journey. So this will be tight. This is great.
That I've been doing. You may or may not be aware that I used to be a moderator for a YouTuber named Katie Joy from Without a Crystal Ball. Years ago, and I mean like pre YouTube. I used to follow her on Facebook and maybe on Pathos. I'm not entirely sure if I really followed her a whole lot there before she left. But she used to cover a lot of content that I was interested in, and her values and the things she talked about lined up with mine at the time. I have to keep switching angles because of the sun and because of where the dog decides to be. Anyways, sorry. Anyway, she covered a lot of topics that I was really interested in. Her stance on anti-vaxxers and people like Jillian Epperly and the Jilly Juice nonsense.
Jelly Juice, yeah.
Sunfruit Dan and like really what I believe are dangerous sort of people, and a lot of the things that are out there.
Scammy and kind of dangerous content creators. I remember Jilly Juice. I was gonna cut. I think we did talk about Jilly Juice live. I was gonna say I thought I uploaded on it. I might not have though, but we did cover it live when it happened.
There that can be quite dangerous and damaging. A lot of misinformation about medical stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I really liked her coverage of that stuff.
Sure.
She was
a debunker. That's why she fit in to my content. Kyle was a debunker. We all came from something called the debunking community. That was the community that was pretty destroyed with the fraud raisers that happened, yeah.
Actively covering the free birth movement, which, I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I think it's incredibly dangerous. A lot of children and mothers alike have perished because of some of their beliefs. And whether or not you like Katie or not, she wasn't.
Someone in the chat tell me the free birth movement is where you have a baby without the hospital, right? If I'm wrong, correct me in the chat, okay? Will you please?
Wrong in her opinions on many of those characters back then. So anyways, that was what got me, that's what hooked me, and that's why I supported her when I did. I moved to YouTube. I followed because, like I said, I enjoyed the content. I enjoyed.
Dina, life, art, and opinions. I meant to say I came to say hi, can't stay. Sorry, my dog knocked on my phone out of my hands, lol. Well, it's good to have you. Great to have you. Welcome.
Her coverage. In one of the first live streams that I joined, I said hello, and I had, not too long before that, I think I had either donated or pledged to her Patreon that she had at the time, and I guess she recognized me from there. And
Navy, is that you? You in here, buddy?
Hey, Bubba, how you doing, man?
Oh, excellent, man. We're recording, so great to have you in here because you're going to be in the video. Hella good stuff.
Sweet.
All right, let's keep. Oh, let me open this up for you. Here we go.
she modded me like
So
almost,
Stina
right
Marie
away in my very
says,
first
yes,
stream.
it's about having a baby with no medical care whatsoever, like
Yeah.
not even prenatal care or a midwife.
Yeah, like doing it all yourself, like in the old school days type stuff, right? Yeah, the free, what is it called again? The free what? Free mother movement or something? Free birth. Free birth. Yeah, free birth. Yeah, free birth.
Even the old school days, you had a midwife. That's kind of
yeah,
weird.
that is weird.
which was like, okay, cool. I guess I don't mind helping out. I stay-at-home mom, and you know, not a lot going on. I have disabilities, and I had the time, so I didn't mind doing it. And it was fun. There was a community there, and I enjoyed it. I won't get into all the drama that came with being a mod for Katie. There was definitely drama, and a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. But what I do want to do is I want to correct some things that I've seen and heard, and sorry, this is a terrible angle. And I find it frustrating because there is a very, very toxic level of anti-KJ. And I understand and I agree with a lot of the criticisms that are out there.
Okay, so she's on board with criticisms, Katie being criticized. I think that's a good thing to hear from someone, right? You don't want someone who's, just like one of those, I'd say, like people that say you can't. There are people out there who say that you can't even criticize Katie. So it's good that she's there, right?
But some of it is just really beyond any level of acceptability, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
There's things that get said and talked about at great length that are just simply not accurate or factual in any way. And a lot of ignorant and inappropriate topics being discussed in a really uneducated way, which is just as damaging as what a lot of these people are upset with Katie about.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the lies I want to correct too come from other EXMODs. Being forced to donate or super chat never happened. Never ever did she even imply that we should donate or we should send super chats. Yes, we were encouraged to encourage the chat to do such things.
Well, of course, that's just moderators in general. I share my link in Discord. I share it on Twitter. I share it wherever I go is where I'm going to share it, right? And it's optional. And I know that's what Katie did. Now, there was this rumor, I guess, that Katie was like trying to get, okay, from what I remember, there was like an ex-mod or someone who came out and then wound up in that whole like hate area that's against Katie, not the criticism area. And they said that Katie would tell the mods to donate when no one else was. This is what I remember hearing, so that would incite other people to do it. And I just thought that was kind of extreme. It was kind of like you're telling them to donate when no one else is donating, so it'll maybe incite people to donate. That just sounds dumb.
But never was it expected, and we certainly didn't pay to be a moderator.
Oh yeah, I remember that whole thing. You have to, like, they say that about, don't they say that about us, Navy, that you guys have to pay to be? Didn't somebody say that about us? I swear they did.
Oh yeah,
these are like basic
all kind of crap that we had to donate, and part of us being here or getting like admin or mod status, we had to like donate so much per month or whatever.
Yeah,
it's so dumb.
I mean, our top's been following me and watching my show, and he watches more than anybody else. So I mean, that's like donating in itself. And he's been a mod forever, and I'm bringing him up because he's been here for so long. It's just not the way any YouTuber works. I mean, I'm sure there might be one out there that's done that, but it just sounds so crazy.
Nobody's going to pay for that.
I know, right?
So yeah, anyone who has said that happened, I'm not even going to bother naming names because it's just not important. But
she knows who's saying shit.
Never happened. They're absolutely lying.
Yeah, lying.
When she got memberships and she had her Discord perk, her moderators were not expected to join. They were not forced to do anything. We were given access to the Discord and to membership perks and stuff, whether we joined or not. I did join at the lowest tier because at the time I was able to, and at the time I was still supportive.
Dude, that dog is freaking awesome.
Despite some of the issues that
Dev says, if anything, you owe him some Soros coins.
That's right, I do. Your Soros payment's late this time, right?
Always kind of came head to head with Katie.
Yeah, because Dead's been here a long time too, and they've seen it all, so they know it's just bullshit.
An understanding of sorts that I was never going to just sit and be quiet and do as I was told. I was going to do what I felt was right.
Exactly.
Can't lie, it was stressful and it was a lot of work being a mod for Katie, dealing with the ever-present already haters, I guess. I don't know a better word at the moment. There was a lot of stress. There was a lot of stuff going on in the background. But, I mean, we were there of our own free will. Nobody forced us to be there. So, you know, it was what it was. She did show her appreciation in some ways. At other times it was pretty thankless. But, you know, there were little things. Like, for instance, at Christmas time, she gave all of the mods a gift card for Amazon, which, I mean...
That's just insane, like, that she even did that, you know? Most YouTubers are barely making it by, especially if they're under, I don't know, like 100,000 subs. It's just, that's the reality of it. You're operating at a loss the majority of the time. I'm sorry, it's just true. For most YouTubers. Now, people like myself and others, that's like the longer you stay on, if you end up getting involved in a whole lot of trends and stuff, sometimes you get an audience that watches you and you don't have that issue. But for the most part, Katie just had showed up on the... Like, that's just amazing for a YouTuber around that long. You know, I know, our top, right? Exactly. But yeah, so to see Katie being able to do something like that, now she's talking about early on, you know, that's pretty nice. I mean, yeah, you got to give her credit where it's due. That's just that's something outside of the norm.
I mean, she didn't have to do that.
I mean, we'd all do it if we could. I always pray someday I'll be at that level.
It was very nice. It was appreciated. I think there's some social skills potentially, like showing appreciation isn't a strong suit. Really, that's about all I want to get into.
Yeah, she's got her issues that are based on her personality. Sure, definitely. I think we all do, right?
In that aspect, like. The rest of it's irrelevant drama, and it's been talked, and it just really doesn't matter. There's other EXMODs you can go and listen to their stories if you want.
I need to find these other EXMODs that have told stories, because this is the first one I think I've found, isn't it? Huh.
That sort of a video, but that's not what this is going to be. More so, I want to share some things and maybe educate a little bit, to the receptive part of the anti-KJ community, because there are some of you out there that have been fair and critical where criticism is due, and I appreciate that. Like, I appreciate those channels. You can have an opinion.
Oh my God, Janie! Whoa! Janie has gifted 5 subs. So let's see, Navy was gifted a membership, BGF, UNIRocck, Jessica, and Twisted all got memberships. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is freaking awesome. It works great. What did I say I'd do? What did I say I'd do? Oh, okay, 100,000 rocks for every gifted membership. 100,000. So what are we at? I got to give you 500,000 rocks. Oh my gosh, Janie, you are just too kind. Okay. Hold up. We got to play like a clap or something. Here we go.
Yay! Expose me. Expose me, boomer. Expose me, boomer.
You got a bunch of expose me boomers. Damn it, Busy. I can't believe it gave it to UNIRocck. Oh my God, that's crazy, man. Janie. Thank you so much. You are too kind. Thank you. I will load the rocks. I'll do a rock countdown. Okay, we're going to keep watching, but I'm going to do a rock countdown. So if you have to type or emoji, I will give it, round it up to a milli. I would, but I'm saving it in case somebody donos or anything. Like, I got to have more rocks to give, you know. I'm sure you'll get the milli, another milli tonight, but you know, I'm going to do 500,000 now. And by the end of the night, if it doesn't happen for the people that stay, you know, I'll hook you up. But here we go. I'm going to play this while I load the rocks. I'll do a countdown in the live chat. In order to get the rocks, you have to type or put an emoji in the live chat to get the rocks.
Dislike someone.
Janie says they work by giving 1 month membership and the people have to continue the memberships themselves. Yes, if they want to. Exactly. But thank you. That's very kind of you.
For whatever reason you want to dislike someone, that's perfectly okay. It's when things get dirty and inaccurate and problematic that you become worse than the thing that you're supposedly trying to expose. What I will tell you is why...
Did you hear that? She said it's when things get inaccurate and dirty and other things like that it becomes worse than the thing you're trying to expose. That's an excellent take. This is something we've been saying.
And, well, and the thing is, the great thing about listening to her talk, right, is that she is going to sit there and say, I don't like this, and give some criticism about things that KJ does. But she's also come out saying, no, this stuff's not true. She doesn't do this. You know, they're making this out to be worse than, you know, anything.
Yep.
And I like it because she's very balanced, and this is like actual good content, criticism.
Exactly. She's giving the truth. She's not just out there like with Lolcow Girl on Twitter, just like, you know, asking for tips while clipping, you know, 30 seconds of an Instagram on KJ, right? She's actually like giving a full explanation, full story. She's showing she knows what she's talking about.
I left. Why I personally left being a mod, why I left the channel completely, and completely have separated myself from Without a Crystal Ball. It was a bit of a process, I guess. I was seeing things I didn't like, and like I said so, and we would sometimes butt heads. And one of Katie's biggest problems was paranoia, and she was going through a lot of legitimate things at that point that contributed to that, and I can't entirely fault her for that, because there was stuff going on. There are people who have been deliberate.
What did she just say? That she was the reason she left Navy? It went over my head. What was the specific?
She said that she was seeing some things that she didn't like, and that her and KJ butted heads on some things.
Gotcha.
Damaging and deceitful beyond what is reasonable, if that makes sense. Just moving so you can see the doggo.
It makes sense. I think it does.
So as we all know, when she moved to YouTube, this became her job. Her content was changing. She needed to change it to make it marketable, to make it monetizable, and there's no fault in that either. A creator has a right to do what they want to do with their channel and to make money off their channel. Like, I don't fault her for that.
Neither do I.
And I think anyone who does fault her for that is slightly hypocritical, because we're on here for a reason. Like, I don't make...
Every hater out there was heavy giving her shit for the money she made and all that up until they got monetized. Up until they hit 1,000 subs and they could submit that monetization. Really strange, because all of a sudden that criticism kind of went into the background.
Make any money on my channel? Yeah, the odd video, we might get some ads, but I might get paid out every 4 or 5 months when I hit that threshold. Like, there's pennies in it for me, because that's not why I'm here. I'm here to have fun with...
You'll be, though. See, here's the deal. When you go viral, that's when you'll get a couple $1,000s in that account. When that video gets 500,000 views in a month, you're going to get $1,000 and then, or more, and then that video will trickle in, 100 to 500 views an hour all the time, and it'll fluctuate. So once it goes in the algorithm, and when you have 5 to 10 of those going, is when you get about 1,000 a month. So it happens.
My channel to talk about things that are important to me, to help right now. Like, obviously, like, my main focus has been the service dog stuff,
which is good.
But it changes, and I don't really have a niche. I don't fit into one category. I call this channel like a mixed bag. I've got some true crime, I've got some drama, I've got some call outs, and I like it that way. But because it's that way, I will never draw in a huge loyal crowd, because there's just not enough of the same content. But yeah, sorry, ADHD is taking me on tangents. I'm gonna try to...
That's okay. I go on tangents like it's nobody's business.
to stick to the point, because this is gonna get really long, and I really hope that people will watch to the end. Bear with me. If you have to put it on 1.25 or something, just please bear with me.
And we're going to give you, our full attention. I'm going to shout out your channel multiple times. I encourage everybody to give you a like, a view, a sub. Here we go there. And let me go ahead and throw this out on Twitter so that people can find this video. You know, anytime I play another content creator's video, if it's good, I shout it out. I think she's doing a great job, so I'm going to shout it out.
I will try not to tangent too much. She was becoming more difficult to work with, and convinced that there were spies, because there were people in her inner circle that were taking information and sharing it with people who were
misrepresenting it.
Opposed to her, I guess. She would question me quite often about why I followed certain accounts. She blocked me from the mod group a couple times because she noticed that I was following an account that she was having problems with. And
Navy, I don't know how anyone has time for that shit. You get me? I can barely have time.
Oh, I know.
I barely have time to do what I do, including my family life and my kids. So how in the world did anyone have time? You know what I mean? Like, I literally can't fathom being able to go and do that stuff, you know, like.
And
Well, I got a feeling she probably had other people that were like checking up on the people in the Discord and probably coming back and reporting to her what's going on. And the thing is that what I do like about what she's saying is that, you know, there was reason for KJ to be, you know, weary of what was happening because things were getting shared. But I think what she's getting to is that she probably took it a little bit too far, and that's why she ended up walking away, right?
You know, she kind of employed me to come in and do what I do, which is just like mediate, moderate, commentate a community. And along with the others that asked me to come in, once, you know, she eventually reached out to me. You guys, you were there for that. So it's like, I wish she would have taken my advice. I just wish she would. She did for a while. I wish she would have taken it more, because it's like these things damage communities, and people don't realize that a community on YouTube is much like just a normal friend group, a normal social group to some extent. And you got to remember, like, if you have a friend group and so one of your friends is stealing from another friend, calling another friend names behind their back, attacking them, it is going to create problems just like it does here. So these types of things need to be handled. They need to be outed. They need to be, you know, worked. You don't do it with spying and shit, you know, you do it just by talking to people.
she let me back in. This happened multiple times, and I was just kind of like, you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to change the way that I am. I stick my neck out for you every day as your mod, and you can trust me or you can not.
Yeah.
I'm loyal to a fault. Like, when I say that, I'm not exaggerating. So, and I'm not sneaky. What you see is what you get, and pretty much anybody will agree with that. People who hate me, people who I've spoken about on the channel, who definitely, you know, could do without me. I'm not sneaky. I don't pretend to be anything that I'm not. But
I get that vibe. You know what I'm saying, Navy? I kind of get that vibe from her. I don't think she's lying to us at all here. You know what I'm saying?
She seems really straightforward. Well, it's because the way she's talking is very level, right? She's very level-headed in what she's saying. There's the good points, the bad points. I got left for personal reasons because I got to this point, I just didn't agree with it. But she's not coming out here and blasting KJ as this like hateful, horrid person, right? This devil.
Yeah.
And she's just like, no, this is the truth of the matter. And you can tell that she has no reason. I mean, like she said, she does things all over the place. So she's not like, looking to get more subs or anything. She's just like,
yeah,
exactly.
She's not going to keep doing this.
She would gain more if she was a cater, right? If she was a cater and decided to come out and be like, oh, KJ's the worst person, she would gain more than coming out and just being level-headed about things.
Sure.
And so
but
it kind of gives more validity to what
I've always told people, man, if you try to play that game, you're going to end up, just the minute you try to talk about anything else, it's going to just be over. So it's called pigeonholing. It's one of YouTube itself will warn creators against that.
Set because I refuse to block. I refuse to block accounts. It's not something I do. I don't block, especially in the position I was in as her mod. I'm not going to block those people that are doxing other people who support her, doxing her, like trying to dig up dirt. Like, my dirt's all out there. You want to look me up, you can look me up. I got no skeletons in my closet because I threw them all out in the open many, many years before I got on YouTube.
Yeah, it's definitely a relieving thing to shake the skeletons out of your closet. Yes, yes.
I'm going to see what's coming.
I've done the same thing Can I call her Tropolis? What do I call her? I'm not going to call her on Tropolis. I'm going to call her Troppy. I'm going to call you Troppy.
There's no way that I'm going to block people just because they have conflict with somebody else that I don't have conflict with.
Oh, I see what she's saying. I agree there. I agree not blocking someone that, yeah, no one's going to tell you who you have to block and not block. Sure. I don't do that either.
I engage with who I want to engage with. Who, when, and how. Like that. If your trust in me is only as deep as my follow list, well then you're the one who has to come off that list.
Oh yeah.
Not anybody else.
That's a good point.
A follow is not an endorsement. Like absolutely not an endorsement.
Oh no, I follow all kinds of accounts just because they're funny, like locals.
And I've
I'm
always
serious.
been able to communicate with people who could despise each other. Like I have friends who hate each other, and just the way I've always been, and that's not going to change. Like
I'm like that too. I think that's why I was always in that role on YouTube, to kind of mediate situations.
And if you have a problem with that, then that's your problem. It's not mine.
Yep.
I make my own decisions. I form my own, opinions. And like I said before, I'm loyal to a fault. So to be questioned in that sense, it was not okay with me. A lot of that was happening more and more. And I wasn't enjoying the content anymore because it had changed. It wasn't what I initially was watching her for. I was less and less interested in the stuff that she was talking about. Stressful and, so what was the point anymore? Eventually, Murphy, no, leave it.
Murphy?
Leave it.
Oh no, the dog's named Murphy. That dog looks like a Murphy. That's a Murphy.
There's a bike under there.
Like next to the dictionary of Murphy, that's the dog. That's a picture of that dog.
Investigating. Murphy, leave it. Good boy.
Murphy's like, but I want it.
So, eventually she removed me as a mod.
Oh my god, look at Murphy. Murphy is so cute.
And I mean, that's fine. That's cool. She was going through a lot, and
The Murfster.
she removed a lot of us, and a lot of people were really quite upset. I didn't mind too much. It was a little bit like,
This makes sense, Navy. Do you remember? I don't know if you'll remember this. I was in my Discord server, and I had a few people come to me and say, I'm really mad at Katie, and you should do a video exposing Katie. And I'm like, why? What'd she do? And they said she took away my mod wrench. And they got really mad at me because I'd be like, I was like, but I don't, Katie can do that if she wants. Like, I can't expose her for taking your mod wrench.
Yeah, exactly.
how cool is that? Like we've stuck our neck out and just boom, gone, because she needed to make her inner circle very tight. She didn't know who she could trust anymore, which, whatever. It's whatever.
Yeah, it's one of those sucky things, right? But some YouTubers, they just haven't. She was early on, and she hadn't learned that lesson. And the lesson is that we all have this naive. I had it. Oh yeah, they'll tell Dead and R-Top and peeps that were around a long time ago. They'll tell you. I used to go everywhere, talk to everybody. I'd let anyone come around. And I'm sorry, but the thing is, here on the internet, you're going to attract, once you go viral, once you get attention, there's going to be a bigger percentage of people who try to, normal people might come and hang and they might chill with you, and you'll meet so many great people. And that's what motivated me to do that. Though you have to remember that obsessive people are going to seek someone out. They're going to be obsessive, and they're going to be a bigger nuisance. They're going to be a bigger presence. So one obsessive person kind of tries to get the same attention that like 1,000 regular people get. So at some point, every YouTuber learns that they can't be like they were. They can't be that open.
I still watched occasionally if it was about something that I was interested in. I even kept my membership for a little bit until Sophie Long. When that started, I had reached the end of my rope. There was a live stream, and she had no active mods, and she was getting ripped apart because of her stance at the time. And I happened to be in the chat. She asked me if I would temporarily be remodded, and I said sure. And she remodded me. and I did basic, I did basic mod stuff. I got rid of some really vile stuff for her in that live. She was talking about some of the privacy stuff, and she was complaining about when Rachel Lee had her name released, and she was really upset about that. However, I was moderating for her, but I was not placating. I let her know in no uncertain terms that I did not agree with what she was saying.
What was her, man, I wish I could remember her take back then. I wish I remembered that whole situation. Like, it's a deep rabbit hole, but basically a little girl was broadcasted crying that she didn't want to go with either a mother or a father, and it turned into this giant thing, and Katie ran to the forefront of it. It became a really, I'd say, like a controversial subject. Yeah.
But she decided to have an absolute fit and promptly blocked me because she realized that I had an opposing view. Go figure, right?
Wow.
I could have dealt with that, but after blocking me, when I could no longer respond, she went on to berate me. And in part of her rant at me about this,
she only blocked you because you disagreed with her? Now that's messed up. That's messed up.
She implied that I have no idea, and how dare I disagree with her because she is a survivor. And
I think I remember this, actually.
Well, I said to myself, I said, Katie, you're a survivor, are you? That's fine. I will never take away from somebody else's trauma. But she has no idea what I've been through in my life.
Yeah, yeah.
And she should have, because she was privy to little bits of information. She knew that there were certain things that I couldn't participate in because I told her that it was a trigger. But for her to say, how dare I have this opinion? I couldn't possibly know what I'm talking about because she is a survivor. I'm pretty sure that I have lived through things.
Hey, Insidious.
I wish my dog would sit still so I could sit still. Anyway, that was the day that I canceled my membership. I unsubbed, and I didn't participate in another chat from that day on.
I can understand that, getting personally attacked instead of like an argument, because me and you argue all the time, Navy. We disagree, we argue, and we kind of help each other get to a good opinion, right? So that's why I don't like the fact that she did this to her, because why would, it just makes no sense.
So I think it was, I remember who it was in the chat that reminded me, but Katie had called the little girl a brat on a live stream.
Yeah, I think this has happened before that, though. Like, I think that happened later on. But yeah, she did. Well, and that's the thing. That's a weird event, because that live stream is Katie reading. I don't know, man. At some point, we might have to pull that clip, but. So Katie's reading the chat, and somebody types basically like, that little brat, blah, 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 right? And Katie read it. And you could either take it one of two ways. She either read the chat, or she was agreeing with the person that because she did sound like when she read it that she was agreeing with it. But see, when I go and I talk to Katie about it, because I was talking to her back then, this is before the creep show issue. So she's in my Discord trying to tell me, like trying to talk to me and be like, yo, go grab criticism that's against me. And because I had already sat down with her and said, if you want my help, you need to hear the good criticism, but you need to not hear the criticism that people are insulting you or, being rude. So I'm going to go filter that criticism into 2 videos and present it to you so that you can react to it or do whatever you want with it. But I really think you should react to my criticism videos. And it's not even going to be my criticism mostly. It's going to be other people's stuff. So that's what I was doing when she doxed Creep Show. But either way, right before that, I had to go to her and say, okay, everybody's talking to me about this Sophie Long thing. And there were two issues. The one issue was her take on Sophie Long. See, this is why I know all this stuff, because Katie wanted me to do this. But anyway, so the take on Sophie Long is the first issue. She ended up agreeing with her side was pretty controversial compared to evidence and compared to what everyone thought. And it was because she was, I think, in communication with the mother. So she was pretty much on the mother's side, if I remember correctly. But the second part of the Sophie Long issue is that there's a live stream she's doing. When I'm telling her, don't do live streams. If you do live streams, don't read the chat. Wait until after you react to my criticism, and then you can go back to normal. You know, take some time and handle things, then go back to normal if you want this to be fixed. Because I was mediating. So she ends up having this stream where she reads someone calling Sophie a brat, and everybody in the chat, everybody on the internet goes out and makes videos. Katie called Sophie a brat. So I go to Katie. Well, I wasn't calling her a brat. I was reading the live chat. I just repeated what the live chat said. And while I still kind of saw that side from Katie, like I could understand, that does seem like you're doing that. At the same time, watching the clip, it looks like she's calling Sophie a brat. So I couldn't tell if Katie was lying to me or if Katie was being honest. I don't care either way. See, this is what I don't like about Katie. It's always these really, what do you say? How do you say it? Really like there's always an excuse. It's never like, I was wrong, let me fix that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, it's just a mess.
This is before the critical case stream, before the brat comments, before a lot of the worst.
She just said it. So this thing she's describing happened really early on from what I remember.
The worst that was still to come. My little story about coming and going, I guess. I've watched some channels who criticize fair. They discuss like legitimate issues that I think are there, and they're absolutely entitled to be discussed and criticized. But I've also seen a lot of obsessiveness, a lot of attacks in a way that's just, it's disgusting. It's far worse than anything that she's being accused of doing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And like attacking her appearance and her marriage and doing things in the name of exposing KJ. And a lot of these players really are far worse in their behavior towards her than anything that she's done to any of them, or like in her coverage of people. Like, I don't agree with a lot of the things she says and a lot of the things she does. But
this person's an independent thinker. You can tell. She's just an independent thinker.
Doesn't justify the hate campaigns. I really don't. I do not agree with it. Like, I can't get behind any of that. I agree that she's done some really deplorable things. She's said some awful things. She's doxed innocent people.
Yeah.
Out of anger, insulting and accusing, giving inaccurate information, refusing to acknowledge so many mistakes, and then doubling down. I don't disagree with any of that. None of that's okay. But it still doesn't make the flip side okay.
True.
For me, the most unforgivable thing that I personally take issue with from Katie is something she said before a lot of this happened that I wasn't aware of. It was a stream where she was talking about, I believe it was about Gypsy Rose and
Gypsy Rose
Blanchard and
Gypsy Rose,
her boyfriend who was autistic, and she said that she believes that any autistic person could be convinced to commit a murder. And then when asked if she thought her son could be convinced, she said yes. Her son was little.
So could Chris Chan be convinced to commit a murder? I don't think Chris Chan could. Because people have tried to convince Chris Chan to commit a murder, and he's severely autistic. And he said no. He had trolls trying to convince him to do that. So that's just inaccurate at its core. I wonder why she said that. What do you think? Do you have any guess?
Oh, I'm not sure. No clue. I don't think it's something I even knew about, because this is like prior to, my interaction with her.
So, like, I know that autistic people can be convinced of course, to do. That's what the whole Christian saga is. He's on the internet, no parental supervision, even though they're in the other room. And Christian, for 10 years, is convinced to get on the internet every day and do crazy things and be convinced. He was even convinced that another YouTuber named Liquid Chris stole his identity and had convinced everybody that he was the real Christian, even though he looked completely different from Christian. And Christian was gullible enough to believe that. He really was. But he still wouldn't do murders and stuff. He ended up doing something really bad later, but he didn't murder anybody.
6-ish, around that time. And to put something like that on her kid, I couldn't believe it. And to put that on the autistic community, like, to say that they're so easily manipulated that any of them could be convinced to.
I think that's just a really bad assumption for her to make. And she definitely should educate herself on how she's wrong in that stance, because that's just bad.
Commit a crime, like a crime period, but murder.
Kelly says Gypsy Rose's boyfriend is autistic. Oh, gotcha. Thank you, Kelly. Yeah, thank you.
I have ADHD and an autism spectrum disorder. I'm autistic. My son is autistic. I'm also an ASD specialist, and I worked for 17, 18 years very, very closely and very intensely. No, Murphy.
Yeah, there's a thing called high functioning autistic, and it can go on a level, and that's why they say it's on a spectrum. And it can be someone that needs assistance in life all the way up to someone that does everything themselves. There's a huge spectrum. So for Katie to make that kind of broad generalization, it's just wrong. I think Katie, and this would be a great opportunity for her, she should listen to this video because it's great criticism. There's no negativity. And she should actually go educate herself after she sees it on the issue, and then make a video and either just talk about what it is she gained from doing it.
Autistic children, youth, adults of all different levels of ability, and
true.
That comment struck me to my core.
Oof.
I was not aware of that comment until after a lot of this had passed. I think maybe about a year ago is when I first saw that. I didn't watch that interview, I guess. It may have happened during the time that I was moderating. I think it was before.
Yeah, a lot of people don't get that. Many people are just busy. Just Saying says, I'm sure she's seen it. You're probably right. I don't know what I was thinking. You're right. You're right.
I'm not entirely sure. Had I, it would have been a conversation. I would have immediately confronted that with her, and if she had doubled down on that, then it would have been it then.
Yeah.
Like, because that's an ignorant, awful thing to say.
Yeah.
I'd have been gone. Now, for some of the misinformation that I want to talk about, her son is autistic. This gets discussed a lot, and it gets discussed in a really inappropriate and damaging way.
I agree completely. For some reason, I don't think the people who discuss her son see her son as human or a person. Just because the son's young doesn't mean
he's attached to her, right?
Well, yeah,
there's no barrier, right? Which is sick.
It is, and that kid's gonna get curious some age, whether it's 8, 10, 12, 14, maybe 18, and is gonna look this stuff up, and it's gonna be there.
Now, back when
and they don't care, Navy, and that's what always got me. That was no,
they don't.
The lobster man likes to tell all these lies about what it was, and it's still live on my channel. Why I criticized him back then, and it was because he did this. He went at this boy, and I said, no, stop it. I'm not going to be around for this. I'm not going to support this. Everybody knows this. Everybody heard what I said. Everybody knows that's what it was. And I still stand against, that With Balls account. It just was just revealed that is Claire. So today, further verification came out to prove it Claire. And that account just because it had been, I don't know, like a sock account thought that it could just hit this boy constantly. And you know, I've said it this whole time. There's always been those types of faceless commentary sock accounts, and I've always said that they're in the cult. And now I just completely believe that at this point, because that, you know, that came out, and then that whole detail came. The same people released the information about Tina's. Oh, it's in my title here. Tina's lawyer was paid for by the lobster. Now, that's all being discussed, verified, fact checked. There's a lot of leaks. There's a lot of data. There's a lot of commentary. There's a lot of testimony that for some reason is just pouring out. And of course, I'm going to update people on that to some extent here. I'm not going to get into it deep, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to update people. But I'm still kind of wondering, and we have to talk about that later. We're going to finish this video. We're going to talk about why, because I think maybe they want attention. I think a lot of that could, because these are really minor details other than the lawyer thing. And I really think they want attention. They want to fight. They want an argument or something. Like
they do.
First,
Agreed.
Yeah.
Came on board with Katie and we talked a lot. I saw a lot of medical documentation, and I also have training and medical education in my background. Like,
I have too, Troppy. I have too. I know factually that her son is sick, has these issues, the brain stents, the surgeries. Fact. It's a fact. It's not a lie.
I know how a lot of this stuff works. I know how a lot of this stuff works in a way that I think a lot of creators maybe don't understand either, and should before they discuss things. He was given the diagnosis because he fit the criteria. Plain and simple, he fit the criteria.
I think the brain stents are the one thing that will never be able to be, like, you know, when you have brain stents, it affects you in many ways. So for people to come out, if he didn't have those surgeries, maybe they would have this opportunity to do what they've been trying to do, which is, as, hey babe, can you put stuff in my cup if you don't care while you're in there? If you don't mind, it's right here, but you don't have to. I'll do it later if you don't want to. But because he had those brain stents and those surgeries, they're never going to win this argument. They're never going to win it. And the fact that they want the argument with this child is disgusting.
So later on came a medical diagnosis that actually explained a lot of his symptoms and could have meant that the initial diagnosis was wrong. But when the medical condition became manageable and he was being treated, the symptoms didn't resolve. So all in all, regardless of if he has a medical condition that caused these symptoms to develop or not, he's autistic.
Yeah.
He's diagnosed, he has the symptoms. Doesn't matter whether the cause is something that was present organically at birth or this medical condition caused things to happen that looked like autism. He is autistic. And having that diagnosis. A lot of people that have never been through being diagnosed have no clue how it works. They think that it's magic. They think that you go into every doctor and they're going to say, that's it. I had my brother, every other dude that we went to Iraq with, when we got home, developed a stomach condition. We would bleed in our stomachs, okay? You know, we'd have internal bleeding. And they would somehow, they would know we had the bleeding because they would take blood and there was some kind of thing they could tell we were bleeding internally. It turned out they diagnosed a bunch of us with all these different things, right? And they still don't have an overarching diagnosis for it. They said that I had ulcerative colitis at first. Then they said that I had Crohn's. Then they changed it back from Crohn's to ulcerative colitis. And it just, each doctor would say something different, right? And that's a lot of the way things work. A doctor has to look at this huge set of data. They have to look at what's wrong, and then they have to decide what it is that's you get to be classified as. And depending, if it's a brain condition, that complicates, let alone the type of internal condition can be.
many different things. A brain condition makes it so much harder. So I don't know how any person out there who doesn't have access to all the information can say that this kid's not sick, but they do all the time. It's gross.
Diagnosis is key. Like, he needs the diagnosis to have doors open for him, to have the resources, the services, the therapies,
the money, the money, the medical cards, the benefits.
Because regardless of what causes those symptoms, autism requires the treatment in the same way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's really good, dude. Yeah. I 100% believe what she said she was a little bit ago. Because you can just tell she knows what she's talking about. You know what I'm saying? She's on point. Absolutely.
Yeah, and she's very just like, she's not angry about it, right? It's just that this is what it is. Very calm, just very normal, you know. And it kind of lets you know that she's just doing this from a good place, right? Like a positive place.
Exactly. Yeah. She wants to fix this, just like I think all of us do too. All of us want a resolution, and we all want to move on and do other things. I think that, you know, she's already obviously done that, which is great.
And he has a medical condition. It's not one or the other.
You know who she's talking about, by the way, right here.
Oh yeah.
We know who it is that questioned his. It's this very, very specific group of people that questioned his medical condition. We know who that is.
I hear a lot of people saying that he doesn't need a wheelchair and this and that, and she lies. And I've seen him running. Hypotonia is real. It's very, very real. A lot of kids can look mobile, and they can walk and they can run in the little clips that you see them. But the muscle weakness means they're limited in endurance.
Oh, yeah. You should have seen me, dude. People would think I'm faking my shit or something, because I used to walk with a crutch, and then I walked with a cane. And then if you would have seen me then, and then 4 years later, I don't need it. But it's because I went through extensive physical therapy. Like, so if you would have seen me before and after, you'd be like, dude, you're faking. Where's your cane? Where's your crutch? They wouldn't know that I went through this process that made me able to not use it the majority of the time.
And don't think you're clever when you say, I saw him running. He doesn't need that chair. You don't know his limits.
You're not clever. You're actually evil.
Don't assume to know
You're
his
nasty.
limits just because you don't like his mother.
YouTube is doing something new. They keep telling me to insert ads, guys. I'm just going by their recommendation. They're reminding me, like, I think it's every 30 minutes or something. So if you get ads, please, you know, don't get mad at me. I'm just doing what YouTube tells me to do.
You just can't. You can't make those assumptions. Just like you can't make assumptions about his tube.
Yes.
I have worked with so many children with feeding tubes. Hi. With all different kinds, G tubes, J tubes, GJ tubes, nasal, like, and for so many, you dirty Murphy, for so
Dirty
many
Murphy.
reasons.
Oh my God, it's Dirty Murphy. I love that dog, bro. Dirty Murphy.
Feeding tubes are not always just the only way to get food into a child, a human being. Actually, an adult can need one as well. A lot of kids only need the tube for meds because they need them absorbed super fast, or because for whatever reason they can't metabolize when it goes in and has to go through the entire digestive tract.
Yep.
And some need it because they cannot digest or absorb enough of the nutrients to survive.
Yeah. True.
More kids than not that were on J tubes or G tubes actually did take food by mouth. They just couldn't take enough food by mouth.
We know who she's talking to here too. Now, there's only one person who made this criticism, this evil criticism.
And the crazy thing is this, right? Like, I understand, like, if you want to criticize her talking about or using her son, even though you're wrong, right?
Yeah.
But there's a difference between saying, I think you're using your son to get, you know, clicks and views or sympathy or whatever, versus trying to act like you're a doctor and can say that she's lying because you saw a clip of him doing this, right? You're not a
gross.
doctor. You have no idea what goes on. You're a dumbass who's doing this because you know it's going to garner a response. You're going hard
Unforgivable.
because if you do normal criticism, you normal criticism is not going to garner the attention you want. So you're going to make some outlandish claim that you have no ability to back up.
Unforgivable.
Actually live. To say that she's lazy because she keeps his tube is just beyond absurd. It's so much work. It's so much work to maintain the tube and to do the feedings, and like it's not easier than cooking a roast dinner. Like that one gets me like so much. Everybody, he ate M&Ms or he ate cheese puff. So what?
What?
Oral stimulation is very important, especially
Yes.
for a child who had such medical difficulties when he was little that he has oral versions as well.
Well, especially when you imagine the last thing you want is for someone not to eat for months and to exercise. You got to have them exercise their jaws. They have to have the salivary response, the teeth. I mean,
He cannot intake enough to live and can't absorb the nutrients fast enough to actually make use of them because of what's going on inside. So just stop talking about those things because you clearly don't understand them. Unless you have a medical background and you actually know what you're talking about, please, like, you're making yourselves look so much worse than anything you're accusing Katie of. Stop talking
Preach.
about things that you don't understand. It's
Preach.
non-stop care and maintenance when you have a child who is a 2B, and it's also expensive, very expensive.
and it's
I mean, there's
it's heartbreaking. Like, you know, I don't think a parent would be able to make that criticism. A real parent couldn't do that.
talk about her Medicaid, Medicare, whatever it is.
Exactly.
I don't care. I'm not interested in that. It's not. I don't care. A lot more recently that is a bit upsetting is an article from her past that was pulled up, I guess, talking about the grieving process that a parent goes through when they have a child with disability or chronic illness. Kay's not alone in that. She's absolutely not alone. We love our kids, but there is a very normal phase that happens before acceptance. It's so hard to articulate.
Yeah.
It's never directed at the child, ever, but the situation. And we do grieve. We grieve for that dream, that imagined, healthy, carefree, pain-free child that will never be.
You blame yourself at one point. You know, you end up blaming God at one point. And I've been through a similar situation. It would never be as bad as what they've gone through, but I mean, it almost was. But I've been through a similar situation. It's very you have to get therapy. You just have to, just to be safe. It'll just help no matter what. Talking to someone helps no matter what.
It's like a death of sorts. Obviously, it's not the same. You have your kid, you love your kid, you wouldn't be without them. But it's a grieving process, and any trained psychiatric professional, medical professional will validate that. And it's just like the stages of grief that somebody goes through, hopefully ending in acceptance. And then it passes, and that's when you realize that, we're blessed with a child we love more than we can even articulate. Like, it's just something beyond what we understand. And then we become determined, and we become advocates, and we learn how systems work and how resources work so we can help our kids become the best that they can be. And that's the point that somebody has to get to. To say that it's bad to acknowledge the initial shock and all the feelings that come along with a serious diagnosis.
No, I'm your #1 fan. I was hoping you'd come around today because we were talking earlier, and I wanted to get your opinion on stuff. I'll do it tomorrow, but yeah, good to see you. I was hoping everything was all right with you. Hope you had a good 4th. Excellent. Thank you. Too kind. Oh, Lauren, tomorrow, don't let me forget to tag you in Discord. I got to tell you some stuff. It's freaking hilarious.
It's damaging because there's a lot of parents out here who've gone through those stages ourselves. And if you judge those things, you become the thing you're calling out. So just you can't justify bad behavior by saying she did this and that, and it's so much worse.
I love how the live chat now shows everything. So a super sticker goes up the chat. I fucking love it, dude. It looks so much better now.
Why stoop to a level that seems to upset you so much? Do I think Katie's Mom of the Year? Nope. But I don't believe that she doesn't love her child.
I don't think she's a bad mom.
Him in the way that
I don't think she's a bad mother at all. I'm sorry.
Implied and outright claimed to believe is true. Like I said before, there's valid reasons, good reasons to criticize. But there's no reason to fabricate or look for something that's just not there. So I guess at the end of the day, I just really hope that people can be better, be honest, and don't be worse than the people that you're criticizing. Seem to have lost my dog again. And if you made it to the end, I appreciate it. I had a lot more...
Dirty Wally. I forget his name already. I love that she called him Murphy. Dirty Murphy. That alone is going to get your... If you keep showing Dirty Murphy, that alone is going to get your channel to 1 million subs.
In my head that I wanted to say initially, but I've kind of
there he is.
gone on so many tangents that I've lost it. I may do, an update to this.
I hope you do.
If there's something that I started to talk about and you wanted to know more about or whatever, I'm an open book, and you can leave a comment or you can reach me on social media. Same username on Tropolis on Twitter and on IG. Just leave me a comment that you've sent me something, because everything seems to get filtered. And that's it. And thank you so much for your support, and I'm hoping to get back to my regular content soon, now that our move is just about done and we're almost settled. You only see in the back.
I know what it's like. It took a month longer than I wanted it to move, so I know how it's like, Troppy. I know.
Because it's crazy inside. It's been a lot
Dirty
of work.
Murphy.
Lots of new cool training stuff I want to show you. As you can see, Murphy is loving roaming his backyard. Got a cute little clip of him and Artie playing together in the backyard. They're finally learning to coexist, so lots more fun coming. Thank you all for your support, and love you all, and see you soon.
All right, so this was on Tropolis. I've tweeted the video out at UNIRocktv, and I'm going to give a really quick breakdown of my take on what we just saw. Don't go anywhere, because I'm going to do one of those 10-second swooshes. Here we go. Wrong song. Wrong song. There. Yeah.